Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's community coffee break series. Today, we're going to be talking about mastering Intune, and we're going to start with efficient app deployment and updates. We appreciate all of you for joining today. We see some people coming in from Michigan, Finland, Seattle, Louisiana. I'm in Louisiana as well. I'm in New Orleans, Devon. A little bit of housekeeping before we jump in. There is content downloadable within the On24 window that you see. So some of the things that Fabian is going to be going through today, he actually wrote a lot of that content. He contributes to our blog a lot. You should see those resources over on the side so that you can reference today's topics. Also, interact with us as you already are. So live chat, you can ask questions throughout there, provide commentary, any thoughts or ideas or use cases that you're experiencing related to the content. And then we'll also have polls throughout the webinar, and we encourage participation there. And then as a note for our coffee break series, we always like to provide coffee for you. So coffee's on us. You'll get a $10 digital gift card for the first 250 attendees that join the webinar. So for the agenda, this series is all about mastering Intune. Then we're starting with efficient app deployment and updates. And then we'll be doing modern endpoint management and then Intune data and reporting. So we'll focus on one topic for each of the three parts of the series. So for today's session, we're going to be going through good, better, and best strategies for third-party management in Intune, third-party app management in Intune. So here's a brief just kind of overview of what that good, better, and best app patching in Intune entails. Fabian, I can pass it over to you, and you can kind of talk through the three categories here and introduce yourself and say hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. My name is Fabian Rodriguez. I'm an IT admin at Recast Software. And today I'm going to be showing us kind of three different methods of application management with Intune. So the first one I'm going to talk about is manually packaging Win32 apps. This one's going to be a little bit more labor intensive, not as scalable, and prone to human error. And the better one is going to be Microsoft's EAM solution Enterprise Application Manager inside of their Intune suite. This is going to be nice if you only want to live under the Intune umbrella, if you have a smaller app catalog package, and if you need a little less automation and a little more manual setups. And could be a little biased. I think the best solution is Recast Application Manager. We can automate the whole process. We have a little bit of a larger catalog, and also we can take away that human error element from application management and updates. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Fabian. So with that, we'll start with a poll just to get a pulse on, how everyone is currently managing third-party applications. How are you addressing them within Intune specifically? So this is related to Intune. So A, for instance, would be you are not managing them within Intune. You may be managing them within Configuration Manager. So go ahead and click one of these on the screen. We'll give everyone another minute, and then I can share the results with everyone. We can see where we're all at. And if it's something not on this list, feel free to drop that in the chat as well. Okay, I'm going to close this out. Let's see how we did. 18% aren't, 46 manually packaging and deploying. Okay, some are using Intune data features, and a couple on here have application manager, and then a different solution. Okay, awesome. So we have a few across the board. So I'm glad we're going to go through three scenarios today so you can see the differences. So I'll pass it over to Fabian for a demo. Fabian, I think you should tell them a little bit about yourself and your IT background and things that you do outside of Recast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, as mentioned, my name is Fabian. I'm an IT analyst for Recast. I handle IT operations for Recast. So it's um, you know really neat. I get to work in this realm. Some of the things that I enjoy doing is hanging out with friends, family, and enjoying the great food scene in Minneapolis. And I also am a part of the TC Smug user group here in the Twin Cities, and also have spoken at MMS too. So that's a little bit about me. And I've also been in the modern workspace realm for about 6 years now. So, yeah.
He's a newer face on our coffee break series, but he'll be leading this entire series and doing all three parts. And then I'm sure we'll have him on here a lot more. So you can get to know him as well. All right, let's hop into the demo. Thanks, baby.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. I just want to showcase some demos, a little, kind of show you a little bit of mix of videos and demos. I actually went ahead and recorded my session for manually packaging applications, because if I were to do it in real time, we probably would take this whole time. So I'm actually going to share my screen really quick with you all and show you, let's see. Here we go. Let me know if everybody can see this video. So here in this video, I'm actually going to show you how to manually package an app, what are some of the components we need, and we're also going to showcase deploying it with Intune, and also a bonus, I'm going to show us how to update that application as well. So as you can see in my video, it's 5 minutes and 50 seconds. That is pretty long still for speeding it up. But if you could package and deploy an application in 5 minutes and 50 seconds, super impressed. So as we can see here, we're actually going to head over to the Microsoft GitHub to grab the Microsoft Win32 content prep tool. This is going to be needed for us to convert an MSI or a .exe application into an Intune Win file so that we can deploy it with Intune. So we'll go ahead here and grab the download. We'll extract it. And we want to make sure that we're grabbing that application. Cool. And then I'm actually going to put it on my C drive, and I'm going to create a Win32 app folder, or a Win32 for a folder. This is going to be made up of a couple of different components. So I'll explain those here. The source one is going to be where the MSI or .exe files live. And the output folder will be the kind of the final version of that Intune Win app file when it's been converted. So I'll go ahead and do that here. So now I'm actually going to show us, how to package 7-zip. I'm going to grab an older version as well. So I'm going to head over to 7-zip here. And I'm going to scroll down to the 23.01 version, download the MSI, grab that copy, and put it in our Win32 prep folder inside of the source file. So we'll paste that. And now we'll want to head over to our Intune Win app util folder, or application, sorry. And here is where we're going to do our magic. We're going to convert this MSI into an Intune Win application. So here, as we can see, we're going to need to specify the source folder. And in my case, inside of that Win32 prep file path, we have that source folder. We want to grab that and add it into that command line. So we'll copy that and paste. And we'll need the setup file. This is going to be that MSI file. We'll grab the properties, and I'm going to copy the name just so I don't have any typos. And don't forget to add the file extension as well. So in my case, it's going to be the MSI file. Perfect. And now we're going to go grab our output folder path. And this is going to be where that application is converted into an Intune Win app. So, and do you want to specify the catalog folder? I'll say no. Boom, we have our Intune app. So now let's head over to Intune. And I'm going to pause it here. We're going to go to Intune. We're going to deploy our application. And as you can see, some of the binaries will be already filled out with using the MSI application. So that's going to be really neat when running this. So I'm going to show us the process here. Go head over to Intune, add the application, do a Win32 app. We'll select, and our output pack, we're going to grab the file from our output folder. So we just need to add a publisher name. Great. We'll do next. And as I mentioned, a lot of the binaries are already filled out. So the install command and uninstall command are already there, which is really nice. As some of you may know, if these binaries aren't there, you're gonna have to go fetch for them. We're gonna have to go, find them. So it can be a little more time consuming. So we'll move forward. And we also have to select our requirements. So go ahead and do your requirements there. And now we're going to do our detection rules here. So I'm going to select on manually configure detection rules. And the nice thing about the MSI is we can use the MSI product code, and it's already pre-filled. Next, next, next. And here I'm going to set the assignment to the end users groups. So here we go. Select, next. And I know this is really fast, and this will be available for you all to see. So here I'm going to show us the end user experience when we deploy that application. So we didn't make any changes to toast notifications or anything. So we'll go ahead and run the sync. And we'll see, hey, this application's being installed here. So we'll give that a refresh, and boom, there we are, 23.01. So now we're complete, right? We have our application deployed, but we get a security task from our security analyst or whomever. Hey, you have to go and deploy this application. We need to uninstall the old version and deploy the new one. So we have our hands full, we got to do it again. And I actually went a little fast on the next packaging because we just did the exact same thing as we did in the first 3 minutes. So as we can see here, we're going to go back to 7-zip, scroll up, grab the latest version, and we'll let that run. And as I mentioned, I sped it up so we can see the action of getting the new application set up. If you can package this fast, you're in the right field. You're application manager beast. So we'll run that. And now we can deploy this with Intune. So we'll go ahead, do the same process. We'll add our output application. Want to make sure we're grabbing the latest one that we just set up. Awesome. Do OK. Set up our binary there, 7-zip. Perfect. So now, right, really nice. We have all those binaries pre-filled. Make a few adjustments in your requirements section. Awesome. And here we go, our detection rules. Okay, perfect. Next, next. And I actually want to make a note here. This is where we're going to supersede the old version. So we're essentially stopping it and removing it and uploading it with the new version. So as we can see here, we're going to add the 23.01 version. Click select. And we want to make sure we're uninstalling the previous version if required by our security team. So let's go ahead and assign this to our user group, and we'll make sure it's required so we don't leave it up to the end user. Perfect. So now let's go see this in real-time action. I'm going to see this from the end user's perspective. Our goal here is to update from 23.01 to 24.09. So let's see this in action. Awesome. So we'll run a quick sync. And as we can see in the bottom, hey, 23.1 is being replaced with 24.09. So we'll let Intune do its magic. And as we can see, the 23.01 version was superseded, uninstalled. And we'll let it install the new version. ta-da, we have 24.09. And as we can see, that's what we are seeing in the control panel. So awesome. Any questions there? Let me check into the, okay, perfect. So as we can see, it is a little bit more clunky, a little bit more prone for human error, and it can be a little tricky if you're having to update applications on a daily basis. So I just wanted to showcase that packaging portion. I actually, when I was first starting one of my jobs, I was actually manually packing these applications, and I was like, oh, this is the job I signed up for. So, but now I wanted to show us the Enterprise Application Manager with Intune. So let me head over there right now. Perfect. So this is actually going to be integrated into Microsoft Intune natively. So this is going to be our second method. If we go to Windows and add an application, we will be able to see this in the Intune app types as Enterprise App Catalog. So as we see here, select and move forward, search our app catalog. And this is going to be really great if the applications in your environment are here and it meets your requirements. So this is definitely a nice step for you to not have to find those binaries in certain applications, and also able to streamline some of your app deployment. So let's take a look at one of the applications here. We'll select on Box Drive, and we can see that they have a package here. It's an x64 architecture, version 2.41.226. So let's go and select that. And the nice thing again is Microsoft is filling out those binaries for you. And again, in the program, we also see the install commands and uninstall commands being filled out by Microsoft. So it's taking away that manual element if you do have to go find it for your applications. And also we can see in the requirements that it's nice that it already has it pre-filled, so you don't have to figure out what are the versions that this application supports, etc. And again, we see that the detection rules are already pre-filled, which is really nice as well. And we can go through scope tags, assignments, review and create, and deploy the application. So, how do you update these applications? Well, from my understanding, there's two portions to this. There's a self-updating application. Think of Google Chrome and any of other applications similar to those. So you can, those should automatically auto-update, and it should, show you the version inside of Intune. But what about some other applications similar to Box Drive? So if you go to Apps and Monitor, you should see Enterprise App Catalog apps with updates. Here, unfortunately, I don't have any applications to showcase to you all, how that flow would work. But essentially, if we go over here really quick, a guided update, we can see that an IT admin would see an application inside of that tab, and we would click on it and we would push the release. But we would actually have to go through the guided setup again, similar to what we just did to deploy 7-zip. We would have to go through those steps and make sure that we're superseding the application. So it still has a little bit of a manual element to it. So now I'm going to head back over to Intune and show you one of the apps that is self-updating. Let's see, we'll go to, I believe one was Firefox. Yep, so as we can see here, this app is self-updating, and app updates will come directly from the app publisher. And something else to note, some of these applications, you aren't getting the latest versions right away. So as we can see in one of the fact sheets, it mentioned that Microsoft is not pushing those applications right away, essentially. They might not. So let's see. And now I'm going to show you the best case scenario or the best application manager. And of course, being biased, being a recaster. So I'm going to show you how this looks with using Recast Application Manager. So here, I'm going to showcase you how to update Calibri from 7.21 to 7.22 with Recast Application Manager. So as we can see here, actually, I'm going to update this version from the Microsoft Enterprise Manager tool from Intune. So as we can see, as I mentioned, Microsoft is not actively, or Microsoft isn't pushing those, right away. They might be, but in this case, there is a 7.22 version as of today. And in Intune, we are seeing that the latest version is 7.21. So I'm actually going to head over to the Recast Application Manager tool to update this version. So let's head over to our virtual machine, and I'm going to show you the old version right now on this device. As I mentioned, the new version is 7.22. Perfect. So let's head over to Recast Application Manager, and we can search this over here. On the applications left-hand panel, we can search for Calibri. And we can see that we have that updated version of 7.22, and that was added on 11/29. So we can take a look at this, and we can deploy it straight from here. So, all right, there we go. There's that old version on the computer right now. So let's head over back to Application Manager and deploy 7.22. As we can see here, we can select either Intune or Configuration Manager. So it's really nice if you do have some applications that you're still managing inside of Configuration Manager. You can still leverage Recast AM. But if you do have some devices inside of Intune and you want to leverage this as well, you can kind of use best of both worlds here. So let's head over, or let's continue this application. Cool. So we'll go ahead and give this application a version number so we can see this. Perfect. We'll click next, and let's select our group. And this is going to be pulling it from intro. So we can use Recast Software Application Manager, save and close. And to mention here, we can also have a few different deployment processes. So if you have a pilot group that you want to deploy to immediately, or if you want to wait a couple of days for a full production group, you can wait 5-7 days until you're ready. In my case, I'm going to deploy this immediately, and we can take a look at a couple of settings as well. Here in advanced, we can see that we can see the supersedence, cleanup, other configurations. In my case, I'm going to enable supersedence. Awesome. So now let's take a look at some of the other settings. We can require it. And to notice, and to point here, I'm only showing the toast notifications if a restart is required. So we can make sure the application is available at any given time. We'll do save here, and then we'll run this application. Perfect. So now we'll want to head over to Intune to take a look at this application. So right now we only have the 7.21 version in there. To push that, we Recast Application Manager. And let's head over to our apps. And we'll wait for that to come through, give that a few seconds. And our applications are going to be labeled Windows App 132 versus the Intune suites are Windows Catalog App. So now we can see that application came through. It is under the 7.22 Calibri. So we'll take a look at some of the properties. Here we can see the version is the one that I mentioned. Perfect. So now let's take a look at the end user experience here. We're wanting to upgrade to 7.22. We'll run a quick sync and we'll let Intune run its magic. And as I mentioned also, we aren't going to show the user toast notifications, so this should just fall in there and boom. I don't know if you saw that, but we just moved it from 7.21 to 7.22 without showing any of the user notifications. And you can show them if you want to, but in my case, just wanted to update that. So yeah, sorry to take a little time, but I just wanted to showcase a few of those different methods. Now, let me see, are there any questions?
Fabian, we have a few questions, but we'll save them for the end. And we can also follow up after the webinar too.
Perfect.
Does that conclude the demo?
Yep, that concludes the demo. Thank you everybody for sticking along there with me. I know we patched all these apps in under 30 minutes, so pat on the back to all of us. So,
yeah, great job. Thanks, Fabian. Can you also cover this slide, Fabian, since we do have two offerings, and I know we currently use both at Recast, and someone actually asked, and one of their questions was, can you use both, and how to use both?
Yep, so as mentioned, we have Application Manager, which is going to cover Configuration Manager and Intune. And then we also have Application Workspace, which is going to be platform agnostic, and also it's going to run on various platforms. If you have Mac OS devices in your environment or Windows, it's going to fully cover that. So yeah, just at a high level. And if you do have any questions a little bit deeper on these topics, feel free to reach out to me, anybody in this chat, or if you want to grab any info from our site, feel free to do that.
Awesome. So we'll take a quick poll and then we'll hop into a couple questions. If you would like to learn more about our solutions to take, Intune application management to the next level, this could be for Application Manager or Application Workspace, which we didn't get to cover a demo for in this webinar, but either one. If you'd like to learn more, let us know here so that we can follow up with you and schedule a more in-depth demo for either solution or both. Fabian, if you want to go ahead and start taking a look while people are filling in the poll, there's the Q&A box.
Yes.
And then we also had some coming through the chat, but we'll start in the Q&A box. Many people asked if we would get a recording of this webinar. You will get that. It'll be sent via email.
Perfect. Let's see. So somebody asked, what happens if a user is using an application that we silently upgraded? From my experience, it's likely going to fail. So either you would want to schedule this update, maybe at a later time, or if you want to work with your end user to, hey, if you want to run that up, or if you could close the application, that application should run successfully. And somebody asked, where can I see the Recast app catalog? I believe it should be on our site. If that is available, I will make sure to get that information to you. And see. And there are a couple other questions that I might not have the best answer to. So I'll work with somebody on our team to make sure that those are answered correctly for you all. And people are at, yep, as Haley mentioned, do you know when we are getting the recording? Yep, it should be available after. And then I'm also going to release a couple of videos on these processes so you all can see. So those should be available as well. Awesome. Cool. And as mentioned, this concludes our session, and just some quick information here for our next webinars. I'll leave that over to Haley.
Yes, they'll be led by you. So you'll get to see Fabian again. On December 10th, we'll be going over modernizing endpoint management. And then on December 17th, we'll go over Intune data and reporting. You can sign up for those now. I believe the links are also within the console here. And then that will also be sent in the email that will contain the recording. So you'll get access to that. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate all the engagement and all the great questions. We look forward to seeing you again. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.